currently using the Action 3 with the lavalier straight into the camera. It's really convenient for running around, running and gunning. It's a great use for this camera. A lot of action people would say this is not what it's designed for, but actually these mini cameras can work extremely well for vloggers and for people on holiday who don't want to carry a big camera around. Now, if you want to improve the audio, obviously a lavalier does help enormously, and that's what I'm using at the moment. It's a mono lavalier. I have noticed though that the Action 3 has a stereo input, so we can put, if we want to, a stereo microphone into the camera. Now, to put a microphone on the camera itself is going to need a cage or an L bracket to hold the microphone, which some people would say would go against the principle of having an action camera, but actually it's easy to keep a microphone in your pocket and just put it on when you need it. So I'm going to try out 4 microphones. 2 of them are mono and 2 of them are stereo. The advantage of using these mono-type microphones is that they isolate, so they will pick up people a bit further away. And this one is a Deity D4, and this one also has a digital output, so it'll go directly into the camera. Same as the Rode Videomic Go II, that also has a digital output, and it's a mono shotgun type microphone. So I'm going to try these 2 basically because they've got USB out straight into the camera. The 2 stereo mics that I'm going to try are very different. One is a lavalier. This is the Sony LV1. It's a pseudo type of stereo. It's not a really split stereo, but it gives you a spatial effect. It's a nice thing to carry around because it gives you stereo and it's tiny and can be clipped onto you or put onto things. That's fantastic. But this one is directional, and this is the Rode stereo video mic. This one will pick up more to the front, so it'll be probably slightly better in its pickup than this one. So this is the Rode one, and these 2 have 3.5mm plugs on the end, so I have to use an adapter into the camera. But even so, it's still smaller than something like, say, the GoPro block thing that goes underneath, and it makes it into a lovely little portable setup that you might want to take with you on holiday or just running around. This is the sound of the Deity D4 going straight into the Osmo Action 3, and with this kind of microphone you're going to get much more directional sound. It's going to be picking me up and hopefully rejecting noise from the sides and the rear. The Deity D4 further away might not sound so good, but at least it's trying to isolate stuff around it, which means if you're trying to take shots of people a little bit further away, it might do a better job than a standard mic on the camera or some other kind of omni lavalier. This is the sound of the Rode Videomic Go II, and this is the replacement for the old Go, which I didn't think was particularly good, but this one is a lot better, a bit more sensitive, and possibly sounds a lot better outdoors as well. So this is the sound of the Rode Go II. This is the sound of the Rode Go II at distance. Again, picking up from a distance is a tricky thing because you're relying on the mic's ability to reject sound from the sides and the rear and pick up from the front, and hopefully you might get clearer audio that way. This one is a neat little stereo microphone from Sony. It's a very nice little microphone, especially if you're wearing black, because you really can't see it that easily. But this is the sound of a stereo microphone. Now, in the case of a lavalier, you're relying on its proximity to your mouth in order to get rid of sounds. For instance, there's a crow going over. You may well have picked that up on a stereo microphone because this is picking up both sides as well. So this is the sound of the Sony stereo lavalier. And if I just hold it and pick up some ambience, maybe you can hear more of what's going on in my surroundings. Let's have a look. So you see, this one could be used for picking up ambience, and just to test the stereo on the microphone and on the camera, this is on one side of the microphone, turning around, going to the other side of the microphone. So we've got, let me think, this is the right hand side. I think it's the right hand side. I can't remember which way round it goes, but this is one side, this is the other side, and this is the center. This is the sound of the Rode stereo video mic, and with this one you're going to pick up more ambience, and it's also directional. Nice clear mic. The nice thing about this microphone is it has low self noise, and not only low self noise but an awful lot of gain. This is pushing 20 dB of gain into my camera, so it's a very loud microphone in comparison to many others, and the result of that is it turns the preamps down in the camera, you get less noise. So hopefully I'm getting a good solid stereo sound from this microphone. This is the Rode stereo video mic from a distance. Again, this will be picking up more of the surrounding sounds, and for distance work this one is not the best because, as I say, ambience is probably going to get the better of me. It's better to use a mono one than use a stereo one when you're doing distance, but these are great for ambience, that's the thing. So if you record your voice nice and clean and loud, then you can then add ambience later. If you record it onto the camera just as a soundtrack and use that soundtrack and put it underneath your speech, you can actually adjust the volume of your background. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers for now.